It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting, either through my website, emailrevealer.com. You just contact me directly at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. I'm really excited about our show today. We have with us Arielle Holmes, who's an incredible artist, writer, actress, really incredible talent. She's written a book called Mad Love, New York City. And this is the story, the true story, that the movie, what's that called? The movie is called, once again, Love Knows What. Love Knows What, which is an incredible film. Now, you can find Arielle Holmes on Instagram at Harlequin_. You can find her on Facebook at Arielle Holmes. She has a fan page there. You can find her Etsy page, which is called, a little more complicated with it. The Etsy page is called Drawings by Arielle. And also, too, she has a Patreon, too, where you can keep up and support all her work. Arielle Holmes on Patreon. Arielle Holmes, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. Before we get into the book, right, Mad Love, New York City, and the film Love Knows What, tell us about yourself. Who is Arielle Holmes?
Well, I guess I'm a lot of things. I've grown a lot in the past 9 years or so since, making the film, and I've gotten to see many more experiences in life, and especially on the spiritual side. There's always been my main passion, all growing up, what I always wanted to do was compose music and sing and just make my own music and a couple other things, but I never really got to do it. I was never in the position, and I didn't have encouragement, things like that. But now I'm at a place where I can, and I'm able to kind of express myself and put it out there and all that stuff. So I'm working on some new music. I don't have anything yet to show you guys, but that'll be coming if any of you guys are interested in that. And other than that, I was thinking maybe of doing I don't know, depending how you guys. I mean, I'm probably gonna do it anyway, just because it's kind of therapeutic. But I was thinking of writing kind of a sequel to Mad Love about my experiences out here in California up until the recent past. And up till now, but it'll be kind of more fit in with the content of Mad Love, the beginning of the sequel, and then the end will kind of show where I've gone with that, and kind of I don't know, how I've grown, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too as well. I'd love to see what's been going on since. I guess Love, Heaven Knows What. It's kind of a story of your life. It's based on your life reality, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's based on the writings in Mad Love. There wasn't a book first. I know the movie has it based on the book but really what it was, these writings, was basically I was just told to write down my experiences, and then I kind of went from there and got a little more creative with it. But I was just writing the story of the movie basically, and then it was proposed to me afterwards hey, it'd be a good idea to make a book out of it. And so that was an afterthought really. So yeah.
Well, then how would you describe the movie and that time in your life?
I think the universe was in perfect synchronicity at the time because, I don't know, everything just felt like right, like I was supposed to be doing exactly what I was doing. And, like, I knew it would all, like, kind of, like, come together and work out. Because, like, when I met Josh Safdie, like, I had never heard of him. Like, I had no idea who he was. And, but I don't know, it's kind of like how he believed in me, like I believed in him kind of thing. Like, it was just, what would be the word? Like, I don't know, it was just like something that was supposed to happen in the universe, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the Safdie brothers have done some really good films too. Besides Heaven Knows What, they did the Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. But I think most people would say that Heaven Knows What is their most gritty, realistic, impactful film. Like, I show this film to everybody I meet, so you got to check this out. You know what I mean? And then when you tell them, hey, man, the woman who's acting in this film, that's her real story. This is her real life, what really happened to her. It's just incredible. Now, the movie starts out with a suicide attempt.
Right.
Yeah, so now that's real.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And it's in the writings and everything. And
well,
yeah, pretty much, like, most of the movie was, like, pretty, like, accurately, like, portrayed, like, by what I wrote. There's a couple of, like, things, of course, that were, like, just kind of, like, not reality, just, like, kind of, like, put in there, like, creatively, but for the most part, everything, like, happened. And everyone, if you read Mad Love, you'll be able to see, like, like, you'll be reading it and you're like, oh, okay, that's from that scene in the movie, that's from that part.
Gotcha. Now, to expose yourself and all these raw, emotional truths about your life, how was that? I mean, for like your family and your friends, your outside friends, to see this side of your life?
You know what? I never really put too much thought into that, but I'm actually glad you asked me that because, I don't know, for me, I don't know, it was never really an issue. It was never really a thing. Like, I've never kind of, like, felt the need to, like, have to hide myself or, like, whatever, like, I was doing. Probably a lot to do with, like, the way I grew up, and, like, not having a lot of family and stuff like that. But I don't know, like, it was never, like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's, like, I don't feel like exposed or, like, I just feel like, I don't know, I'm supposed to, like, kind of, like, do this for some reason.
And then what about people now who, like, think they know you? They've seen this little snapshot of Arielle Holmes, of her life, right? And they think they know you, right? Well, what do you tell them?
Like, I get emails and, like, messages almost every day still, like, all the way from when the movie came out until today. And I respond to some people there's plenty of people I talk to, and I've developed, like, some, like, friendship with, like, just over, like, the messages, of course, but then there's a lot of people I don't. I just don't really know what to say to some people because they're, they'll just, like, I don't know, say some, like, really, like, random thing, and, like, I don't know where to go with it, I guess. So, but yeah, some girls even have messaged me, like, saying things like that they think that they were me in a past life and, like, all of this stuff. And, but honestly, like, there's been some, like, far out stuff, but for the most part, I mean, even the far out stuff, I'd say, all of that has been, like, really, what's the word? Like, like, makes me feel kind of like secure, like comforting. It's like closure, maybe that's the word. Yeah, kind of like because at first, like, I had no idea, like, why people would be, like, because a lot of people thank me and say, thank you for your part in heaven knows what. I just wanted to let you know. You know, like, that movie meant a lot to me, and, like, thank you for your part in it. Excuse me. And at first, like, I didn't really understand it, and I think I straight up asked somebody one time, like, I was like, why? What's so important about it? And she told me, because you have a unique perspective on life that not a lot of people like get to see, and it's important to share like different perspectives like for the world. And I thought about that, and I was like, you know, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, ever since then I've kind of like, and like I said, I was saying like in the beginning, like how like I've kind of like gone on this like very spiritual journey recently, and like that has helped me see a lot, like all of this, like, you know, I'm into like numerology and astrology and all of that stuff, like pretty in depth, like I get into it, and basically all of that stuff kind of like relays that, like, you know, in my lifetime I'm supposed to like lead people like by example, like I'm supposed to like share like myself with the world somehow, like you know, and something involving my emotions, and it's going to help people in some way. And like I mean, so far that's totally what has been happening from it, you know, and I feel really like blessed and like thankful and like, you know, and grateful to kind of have that role in life. It's really inspiring me, especially now, because like, you know, the content at first, you know, even it's really cool because the content is like kind of like some dark stuff, and yeah. So like for people to get inspired like off that, that's like beautiful. And but now, like, you know, that's another thing I wanted to say, like kind of with me releasing Mad Love, I'm kind of like killing off like Harley, like I've like had these experiences recently where I've kind of like, I don't know, my consciousness has ascended somewhat, and I feel like I'm on a completely different frequency, and like, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, a lot of people like have been wanting to read it and all that stuff, so I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to like say, like, close that part of my life off, and like make room for like new things to come in. And so hopefully I can, like, you know, continue to like lead people and like, you know, inspire and help people in some way, but it'll be like, you know, more kind of like a positive way, or like a more like a specific way.
Well, then let me ask you this. Who or what inspired you and led you on to the spiritual journey?
I mean, I've always been like a spiritual person my whole life. I've always been very intuitive. The funny thing is, I didn't grow up with like my family I grew up with wasn't religious like whatsoever. They weren't like atheists, but they weren't religious. And God was never talked about. Nothing like that was ever talked about. And I didn't live with my mother until I was like from age like 2 to like 10. And so when I lived with her again when I was 10 years old, I remember like the first conversation I had about that kind of stuff was with her, and she kind of like, you know, like told me, like opened up that world to me, because she's like, you know, very if anyone in my family is spiritual, it's her. And she kind of like told me all of these different like philosophies and like things that she has believed in her life and like went through. And that was me at 10 years old hearing all that. So ever since then, I was always thinking about all those things, and like kind of like as I grew older, my awareness of nature and how everything works would just kind of grow, and intuitively I would like kind of know things and feel things, and and then of course the experiences I was having, like back when I made Heaven Knows What, it kind of like separated me from that world like a lot. Like I wasn't even really open to it yet. I like had an idea of it, but since like I don't know, a lot of it came with maturity too. Like I was only 20 years old like when I made Mad Love. I'm almost 30 now. I'll be 30 in September. So like that, all that combined, and like just like wanting to like make beauty out of like the negativity like within myself and my surroundings, that kind of like made my awareness open up more. So I started kind of like reading about it more, and like just like really going in depth with astrology, and it's all like totally makes sense, like, and then like numerology, and like not just like the horoscope like in a newspaper or something. Like that's just your sun sign. Like that's only going to touch the surface. Like you have a sign for every single planet in the solar system and some other points in space, and it just is really complicated. But yeah, all of that kind of really enlightened me, and so that's kind of where I'm at now. And
now, in your description on the Facebook page, it says you're into alchemy. How do you apply that in your life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, what was the last part of the question?
How do you apply that in your life? How do you apply yourself as an alchemist?
Okay, so I don't know, I wouldn't say I've specifically, like, intentionally have, like, practiced it yet. I'm still kind of like, I'm like a student of it, so far, you could say, like, which is basically being a student of nature, is how you like become like, and of course studying like things like alchemy and like science and stuff. But
the surrealist Salvador Dali, the surrealist artist Salvador Dali, they have the Dali Museum in Florida, and I've been there. I'm a member, actually, and he actually took alchemist texts in different languages from all over the world, and he translated them and hand wrote them out by hand. And it's at the Dali Museum. I'd love to sit there and actually examine all this, but I just found it fascinating that that's so available to the public. You just go there and check it out if you want to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Now, when you completed this film, right, you were like a rising star. Like a lot, you caught the attention of a lot of brilliant artists out there, right?
Yeah.
Were people trying to channel you in different directions? What was that experience like?
Yeah, like pretty much just like what you said. Like, I had never like thought about acting before, like for that movie, but afterwards, I was like, well, because I felt like, my performance was good, and I was, curious to see like what like other kinds of like movies would be like, where you have an actual script and it's like a character and all that. And I had gotten clean after I did the movie, so, and I moved out to LA, so I was like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. And I did 2 other movies, and like, I went on a bunch of like auditions for other things too, of course, and I don't know, it was just like, I just wasn't really feeling it, like, it's just not my thing. Like, I've always been more of like a musician or like a painter or writer, like, I loved doing Heaven Knows What, and like, I think it would be fun to like, maybe like, kind of, like Duke's, like I'd be open to doing some kind of like improv, like in like a project, like, if it was interesting, but it's not like the direction I'm trying to go in,
Heaven knows what. How much of that was ad-libbed? It seems like a lot of it was, especially when I think back to the scenes of you. It's a silent scene at the beginning of you in a psych institution, where just your expressions just show so much. How much of that movie was ad-libbed?
What is ad-lib mean exactly?
Well, like improvisation, like you said.
Oh,
no script.
Well, All of it
Wow.
really. Like there was like a script, but it wasn't like it was more like just like the screenplay, and it was like basically to just give us direction, like, okay, what's going to happen in this scene is you and Mike are going to have an argument about you're going to ask him to front you 2 bags or something like that, like, you know, and then we would just go about it as if we're just really doing that, because, you know, it was just things we had already like experienced together in life. And same with most of the other characters. There's some professional actors, of course, but yeah, it was just
Oh, no, the scene you're talking about is probably the funniest scene
really
I've ever
cool.
seen in a movie, and it is so realistic. Where you're trying to get that extra bag out of him the night before because he promised you a bag in the morning.
You know what's funny about that?
Yeah.
I believe that was an actual argument we really had right before we shot that scene.
Right.
And we had it like while we were shooting, but we were like kind of like on a break. And Josh, I guess he just thought it was great, and so we basically just did it over again for the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the funniest scene, and it's so realistic. So then you were on dope during the filming.
Yes.
Okay, but then
Yes,
afterwards,
it
then you
was.
went through some kind of rehab.
Yes.
You were approached by Lady Gaga to do a film, a photo shoot.
I did a photo shoot with Lady Gaga. It was Bruce Weber was the photographer in New York, and yeah, that was a really cool photo shoot.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with like the pictures came out, and yeah, Lady Gaga we were both there, and we took some photos together too, and they came out pretty cool.
And as far as your spiritual journey, did she have any influence on that?
No, I couldn't say so, just because that's the only day I had ever, like seen her or, you know.
And then what
we
about
didn't
at the
really-
time? Like any more modeling opportunities at that time?
At the time I was open to that, and I was talking to my manager about it, and he was like, I don't know, I can't really remember if he was like looking for some like work like that for me, or if it wasn't. I think it might have just like not been like where his area, because he's like an actor manager, but yeah, it never really came together. But yeah, modeling has been something I've kind of done just like you know, on my own, and with like you know, just like local like kind of like photographers or like friends of mine that were photographers, like just growing up, like just random like photo shoots and stuff like that. Like it's always been really fun. And the one with Bruce Weber, there's a couple other ones actually too. There was one with I think it was L or W magazine. I did one with, and then this other really cool magazine called Apartamento. I did a really cool photo shoot in that. Yeah, but yeah, that was fun. But like other than that, it hasn't.
Well, how about like now, like where you could have more creative control? You have all these artists out there that they're utilizing Instagram and TikTok and things like that, and they become huge social media influencers, you know, with their own artistic control. Would you consider something like that?
Like you're saying something like
putting a
like
lot more effort into
collaborating,
your
or-
Instagram and like a TikTok, like video blog.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How come you haven't done that though?
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, someone was just at the door, but they was just dropping package. How come I haven't done that? I guess because like well, like I said, kind of like my mental state for a long time like wasn't really in the right place yet. It completely is now, and that's why I have been like kind of like slowly trying to do that, especially because I see how like responsive people are to like some of the things I put up there. So that really like gave me like a lot more like confidence about it all. But yeah, that you'll definitely be seeing a lot of that in the very near future.
Now, after Heaven Knows What, you went and did a film called American Honey Pie, right? But you had a very small role in that film. Now, what was that like? First of all, how'd you get that part, and how'd you feel about working on that film?
American Honey.
American Honey.
That was a really crazy movie to work on. There was a lot of like cool experiences I've had, and there was a lot of like hard ones. I was kind of like going through a lot of a lot of things at the time too. Like Ilya had just passed away 2 months before this.
Right.
And like I was like, and I also had just recently like gotten clean, and like I was in like a totally different state, like filming with like a bunch of people like I had never met. It was just kind of like all a lot for me. But I made the best of it. And how I got the part was I was with Josh one day in New York, and he was telling me that I don't know if it's a friend of his or if they just know each other from the industry, but the director, Andrea Arnold, he told me that she loved me in Heaven Knows What, and she was like casting for a movie that she was, trying to make, and that she really wanted me to come and to an audition. And so I was like, yeah, I'm down. And so when I got there, that movie was very improv too, I gotta say. Actually, yeah, it was completely improv, like just as how Heaven Knows What was. And that was really cool. But yeah, so when I get there, she immediately knew what character I was going to be, and she like fell in love with me, and she was like, she had me like do this like kind of like improv, like a practice kind of thing with like one of the other girls that she had already cast. And so we kind of did that, and they like filmed it just to see like, the interaction on camera and what it would be like. And it was, she loved it, and she was like, done, it's for you. That part is, you are Pagan. And I actually did resonate a lot with Pagan at the time, so that kind of really probably helped. But yeah, it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, I tell you, I found that movie because I followed you from Heaven Knows What. I said, well, okay, look at this brilliant woman. What else has she done? And I was disappointed to see that. I actually thought that maybe you were going to be the star of the film, which I think you could have carried. But now, then you did a sci-fi film too that I haven't been able to find. What's that like? What was that about? And can we find it anywhere? Were you happy with it?
That was called 23 AD Winter's Dream. Right. And, I actually have not seen it myself yet. I haven't seen the finished product of it, but from what I've heard, it was pretty good, and people told me that like I really killed it in it, but I haven't yet seen it for myself. But yeah, that was cool. It was like a small movie. We filmed maybe like a couple weeks in Buffalo, New York, and yeah.
Okay, if I ever get it, I'll send it to you. Okay. I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, Mad Love, New York City, and Heaven Knows What, this love, Ilya, right, who instigated your suicide. Now, is that how he died in the film, in like a fire, that kind of situation?
Are you asking like if that's how he died in real life?
In real life, yeah. How did he die in real life?
No, in real life. So he died after the film was made. Okay. Actually, he died a month after it was released in theaters. Where we got that part of the movie from, and this is in the writings too, so you guys will get to read like all about the real like events of that. But we had like our own apartment in Jersey City. And, like, the first half of the year we lived there, we were paying the rent. We were, like, had a couple, like, hustles we were doing to, like, make the money and, like, but it kind of all fell apart. And we weren't able to pay the electricity, so, like, we were using candles to, like, to see. And what was fucked up about that place is it was a basement apartment, right? And it didn't rain the first, like, month we were there. And but it generally rains kind of a lot in Jersey, like, a lot more than here at least. So when the first time it rained, like, really bad, I don't know, it came through the windows, it came through holes, like, in the walls, but the apartment would flood up to the knee in water every time it rained. Yeah. And so, like, I'd clean, we'd have to clean all that up. And then sometimes it would rain all over again, like, 3 days later. And then the landlord, he wouldn't do shit about jack shit. He was,
remember what we said about...
Oh, I'm...
No, that's okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. Move on.
But the landlord, he wouldn't do, like, anything that we asked him.
Well, it's a good thing the electricity was off then, man. If you got water up to your knees, I can only imagine if the electric was on, right?
It was horrible. Yeah. Oh my God. But also it was winter time too, and, like, the heater stopped working, so there's no heat. It was just, and then so because it would rain so much and because it was so hard to clean all that stuff up, like, I stopped cleaning everything except the one. We just kind of started staying in one room. Yeah. So I would clean that one up, and I would just leave the other ones because it was just sick of it was a lot of work to clean all that water and everything up after the water. So, like, I was sick of doing that, like, every 3 days or once a week or however often it rained. So I just kind of did our room and stuck to that. And I guess because it got so, like, kind of, like, dirty, rat families started, like, coming in, like, frat families, like, there was a lot of them, and it was crazy. But anyway, so what happened with the fire, I wasn't there for it, but Ilya was, and what must have happened is, because, like I said, we would use candles, and we would, we would drink or, like, use drugs, whatever. Sure. Like, I wasn't there, but he said that he was drinking and reading a book, and, like, there was a candle on, and he fell asleep, and then he woke up on fire, and everything else around him was on fire. He said his hair was literally on fire, and his hands, he said what happened to his hands was when he went up the stairs to, like, get out, he said that the doorknob was so hot that it melted, because his skin on his hands, he had third-degree burns. He said the doorknob melted his skin off and ripped it off, but it was the only way out, so he said he grabbed it with the other hand and, like, just pulled it open and, like, got out of there. But and he lived through that, though. But yeah, that's where the whole idea for the fire thing was, and, like, him dying in the fire in the movie. But
did he die from complications of the burns and things like that? Or
no, not at all. Okay. No, it was an overdose.
Gotcha. Now what about the way in the film it portrays a scene where he abandons you on a bus? Did that really happen?
No, it didn't. That was kind of, like, put in there as well.
Gotcha. See, because another thing is, I know that I think you still love Ilya with all your heart.
Of course.
But for the viewer of the film, I hate him. I saw the way he, I can't get over that. The way he treated you, he inspired was that real? That kind of a hatred that he had?
It was, but at the same time, there was a lot that wasn't portrayed. There was a lot of other things that weren't portrayed in the movie. Like, there was a lot of things on my part that wasn't portrayed, and there was also this really, like, sweet, like, childlike side to him that wasn't portrayed either. But it's all kind of there in my writing, so you can kind of see it. Kind of like, brings in the life, and so to say, because he's much more dynamic than the film portrayed him in. Yeah, so you'll get to see all the sides to everything. Like if whoever reads Mad Love, like, and
so
yeah.
Now, Mad Love, they're going to be able to get it on your Etsy, and also Amazon.
Yes, it will be available on Amazon. So I'm gonna put it up tomorrow. And I actually just became aware of this kind of because I told everyone the 27th I'd have it out, but I think it might, like, from the time I put it up, take like a day or two to show up on there. I'm not sure. So if it does, then it does, but I'm putting it up tomorrow. So yeah, you'll be able to find it on Amazon, order paperback, or just, you can order the ebook if you want, and it's also will be available tomorrow for sure on my Etsy, but only in digital form. So if you want the paperback, just wait. Like I said, I'm putting it up tomorrow on Amazon, but I don't know if it's going to take it might take a day or two, according to something I read. So if it does, then yeah, you'll be able to get the paperback then.
And if people go to Arielle Holmes on Facebook, Arielle Holmes, Holmes, there's a link to her email address, which you hardly have a response to me on, but okay. And then also to her Instagram, you can find on there, and her Etsy are all on there, plus some cover art for Mad Love, the book that's about to come out. So now, what have you been up to since because you spent 9 years to write the book, man. And what have you been up to since the film came out and that period of your life?
Well, so after the movie, like I said, I came out, I went to rehab, I came out here, and, I tried the acting thing for a little bit, but, it wasn't really my thing. And then, opiates and all that stuff, that was something I've struggled with, like, on and off, and so there's a big part of my life, like, after all this, where I was kind of just on the street out here. But the reason I think it would be interesting to do kind of a part 2 about my experience out here is because it is so different out here than it is over there. Like, just everything, like the lifestyle, the people, the environment, like, it's crazy. And there's a lot of crazy experiences I've had out here that, like, I would have never been able to have over in New York. And I think it'd be really cool to share that stuff too, because it's like, just more of my perspective on, like, and since then I had this really intense, 5-year relationship with someone, and it was a really very, very toxic relationship. And luckily that, we kind of just parted ways, like, on mutual terms in the end, like saying, like, it's just better if we don't talk to each other, because it's just, we're not good for each other. We bring the worst out in each other. After that, I actually, there's another person, his name was Jeffrey, and I was with him for about 4 years, and he also passed away recently from an overdose as well. And so this was almost 2 years ago now. So I went through that, and, like, after that, I kind of, like, right before that, we had gotten off the street, and, like, that's, like, when I came to the point where I kind of, like, wanted to, like, before he passed away even, I was just, came to a point where, like, getting high just, like, wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't fun, and it wasn't, like, all it was doing was, like, draining my energy, and, like, I had, like, I was just kind of, like, coming back and, like, getting all this inspiration for all, like, these ideas and things that I've wanted to do, because he was a very talented musician himself, and, he kind of brought that stuff back out of me, because I had suppressed it for so long. But, yeah, since because of that, and he's a big reason for my spiritual awakening as well, I would say. yeah, so after that, like, I kind of, you know, like, I've kind of, like, just, you know, I just came to a point where I, not only was it not fun anymore, but I wanted to be able to do, like, have this freedom again, like, the freedom to, like, you know, create whatever I want and, like, not be, like, held up by, like, you know, having to, like, go get money for dope every day or something, like, but, and now where I'm at,
yeah, I know. You can look back and see 5 years went by just spending every day looking for dope. You know, it's people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in New York City myself, Lower East Side in the 70s and the 80s, and you know, pretty much that's. What do you make then? Living on the streets in New York City and living on the streets in LA, what do you see the difference in the communities?
The difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd say out here, people are a lot more scandalous, first off. But at the same time, the smaller percentage of people out here that are, like, really warm-hearted, good people, like, are really, really, like, warm-hearted, good people. Like, over there in New York, you know, I feel kind of, like, neutral. Like, everyone's kind of more neutral. Like, and out here, it's like very, like you got the two extremes. And also just kind of like, at least like being like homeless, like out here, people are like more interested in like, I don't know, just all these like various different like criminal activities that like I had been fascinated with for like a while, but over there, like, you know, I didn't really know anyone that like, you know, did any of that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's all in the past now, but that was a unique experience in and of itself, like getting to see like the way these people lived over here and like how they like got their like daily like stuff together or whatever. But
let me ask you this. Well, right now, if people want to support Arielle Holmes, you got the Etsy page, right? Which is called Drawings by Arielle. Now, you sell your drawings too as well?
Yeah, so I haven't put any up yet. When I made the Etsy page, the reason it's called that is because I had come across like these people that would like draw like people's like wedding photos or like just like portraits of like people's pictures, and like they draw it and sell it for like a good amount of money on Etsy. And I look at them like, I can draw like that. I was like, why don't I do that? So that's why I initially made the page. But when I decided to like, you know, do Mad Love like seriously and do, because I did all the editing, all the designing, all of everything. And that was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, like, because I had, like, semi kind of, because when I did the writings, they were totally, like, just kind of scattered, like it didn't, like, there was no timeline, there was no, like, it was just all scattered writings. But I kind of, like, at some point in the past, like, organized them a little bit. But I don't know, I guess I thought I had done it a little more than I actually did. So when I started to like, okay, let's put it together now, I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's a lot more that I actually have to do. So, yeah, since it's doing that, I kind of just dropped everything else and like have just been completely focused on that for the past about month, I would say now.
And they can also support you on Patreon. Go to your Arielle Holmes Patreon, and if they subscribe, you'll make like little pieces of art for them and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I have like little like there's a couple of like my art stuff on Patreon. I'm gonna put up a lot more because I have art that I just haven't put up yet. So I'm gonna be doing that and making new pieces, of course. And you know, like I said, I have a lot of interesting things that I'm working on in the meantime. With art and music and everything. So, you know, I've been quiet, but you'll see a lot more of me very soon.
Now, what do you think it is? What do you think it is about Arielle Holmes that you've lived such a chaotic life? You're attracted to this kind of chaos and instability in some ways.
I think it was kind of like just a mirror of like what I felt inside my whole life, because growing up, ever since I was like 2 years old, I've had an incredibly chaotic, unstable environment, caretakers, all of that stuff. And so I was very I was always very kind of independent thinking and like rebellious, but like with like a positive attitude, and so I guess it was just, I would just look for things that like was the reflection of the way I felt inside, like whether it was like, I remember when I was like a teenager, that was when I got into like punk music, and like then Ilya showed me black metal, and then like even the rave, we were at the rave scene for a while, and like that was a whole totally different thing, but another thing that like I eventually like grew from. But being all the chaos and stuff, like I think it was also just kind of like there to, it was in my life because I'm supposed to learn a lesson from it, and basically what I learned from it is what I'm supposed to apply to my life and lead others by that example, like kind of like a phoenix rising from the ashes, like like being able to like just make something like from the bottom, from nothing, but like I don't know exactly what others' perspectives on it would be, but that's kind of like how I see it, and that's kind of like what I've found like through like all this like spiritual stuff, like things, everyone goes through hard things in life, but like it's not, those things aren't meant to punish you, it's there to teach you. It's there to teach you so you will grow and mature as a person, as a soul, as a being, and you will transmute that, all those negative things, into new positive energy and break cycles and like be the first to like go somewhere new, somewhere like bigger than ever before.
Well, then let me ask you this then, because I'm sure that a lot of young girls, especially teen girls, see the film and follow you online, and they see this mad, passionate love, and this passionate, chaotic lifestyle, and they think it's romantic, and would want to pursue that too as well. Hey, I want to be on the street. Hey, I want to have this mad passion. What would you tell them?
I've actually gotten the complete opposite reaction from everyone. Yeah, I don't think I've had any teenagers contact me. Maybe I have and just didn't know, but it's been the extreme opposite. Everyone that contacts me about it says that like, thank you. Like some of the things that they've thanked me for is like that movie's like most accurate thing. That projects like that lifestyle. It really is. A lot of them were in it themselves, but like a lot of people that weren't, they'll email me, they'll say stuff like, that really like kind of showed the truth and made me like never want to like experience anything like that. And like it was just really kind of, I'm really glad like it, that's the impact it had, because I don't in any way want to glamorize it at all. It's not, everyone has their own journey. That was part of mine, and it's part of some other people's. And like, that was like, I myself personally like romanticized it at the time. But like if you're meant to be there, your life's going to take you there. Like, like I would never like, want to portray that as like an option with someone that has no idea about it per se, but luckily that hasn't happened. It's been the exact opposite, and like so
that's encouraging, because like you said, this is the most accurate, gritty, traumatic movie on this topic, man, of street life and drug life in New York City, especially, really incredible work, and your work, and it was just blew me away. Arielle, we only got about a minute left. What would you like to leave us with?
I guess just sending love to all of you with love and light, and I wish everyone the best, and I thank everyone for all their support, and just kind of like, yeah, I just feel very grateful and blessed, and I wish everybody an awesome day, an awesome life.
Arielle Holmes, I can't thank you enough. I've been trying to get you on the show for so long. Okay.
I know.
Arielle Holmes.
I'm glad I finally came.
I really appreciate it too. Arielle Holmes on Facebook. There's a link there to her Instagram, which is Harley Harlequin, HarleyHarlequin_, and then her Etsy.com page where you can get her book, that is called Drawings by Arielle. Again, it's spelled Arielle. Keep an eye out for Mad Love New York City, Mad Love in New York City on Amazon, be coming out shortly. We'll have a link to, I'll put it up for you. And then what else was there? Her Patreon. Patreon was designed for artists, people who artists that are really true creative artistic people that to support the arts. And I can't think of anybody more than Arielle Holmes who personifies that, or a true artist in her life, in her work, and her lifestyle. So that's Arielle Holmes. Then it's like an apostrophe is Harley, Harley, on Patreon. To support someone who's a true artist, you can go to Patreon and support Arielle Holmes. Arielle, thank you again. Anything new comes up, a project you're working on, you want to promote, please let me know. I'd love to have you back and help you promote it.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, go ahead. What?
All right. Bye.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to say one more thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Also, my message I want to leave people with is just to believe in yourself and your journey and follow your heart, and don't doubt yourself. Even when you're feeling doubtful, just have faith in the universe and yourself, because you can do it. Yeah, that's all.
That is so true. That is so true. People think the world is so big and things are impossible. It's really not. With enough dedication and focus, you can accomplish anything. Arielle Holmes, thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night.